Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. According to Wall Street Journal, 3 NATO countries, the most important ones if you want to go below United States of America, Great Britain, France, and Germany, urged Vladimir Zelenskyy to maybe start negotiating with Russia, a peace plan, because things will not go better than they are right now. Well, I don't know about these guys, but they either are so naive, or maybe they just did it for, I don't know, our ears, because they must know that Zelenskyy is US's boy. So they must know that Zelenskyy listens to one country, and that's the only country that really can affect everything, let alone Russia. But if United States tomorrow says done, the next day Ukraine probably will call Putin and schedule a little meeting, because I don't think they can survive alone. I mean, as of now, the whole Europe, Canada, the United States, Australia, and others are involved in supplying, all kind of aid to Ukraine. Without that, so anyway, I don't understand why these guys, the 3 countries that I mentioned, their leaders, Sunak, Scholz, and Macron, urged Zelenskyy to do this under the promise that they will facilitate Ukraine with weapons easier or something if they would start negotiating with Putin. I mean, in NATO, there's one country, that's United States of America. The rest are just, over there to add as a number. I remember when I came to United States of America, I met a person who became my friend and is still my friend. And he was older than me, is older than me. And he talked to me, and we had all kind of political conversations, and he helped me answering questions regarding the American society and all that. He was a very good help. So at one point he told me that, hey, Emil, when United States sneezes, Europe catches a cold. He was talking about economically. So if we have a little problem here economically, Europe is in. I said, nah. Coming from Europe, I was like, I don't think so. Anyway, it's not that when United States sneezes, Europe dies of a Black Death or something. That's what it seems to be right now. Everything goes through everything. I'm exaggerating, but important decisions, economic, political, and military decisions go through United States of America, not through Europe. So if the Europeans want to do something, they can go and talk and have those little summits and all that. But when they come out, they submit that to the boss. The boss looks over it and sends it back for, modify certain things over there, or toss it in the garbage and send them back to their rooms to clean their rooms, the Western countries of Europe. So here we have, I have 2 articles here, and one comes from the New Voice of Ukraine. Both of them come from New Voice of Ukraine, but and they both mentioned Wall Street Journal. So this first article says that at their latest meeting, Macron and Scholz urged Zelenskyy to negotiate with Russia. Now, you can say whatever you want. This guy would not listen to these guys. Why? Because the main guy is not them, it's someone else who he pays protection to. So this article comes from February 24, 2023. During their meeting in early February, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz suggested over there is urged, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy should negotiate with Moscow, the Wall Street Journal reported today, February 24th. According to the newspaper sources, during a meeting in Paris earlier this month, Macron told Zelenskyy that even mortal enemies like France and Germany had to make peace after World War II. That's something that I always mention. when they say, well, Russia will never be accepted in the world community anymore, in the civilized world, and blah, 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 blah. Russia will never be able to wage war against another country again. Well, really, how about the First World War? What happened to the second one? And then after the Second World War, what happened to Germany? Joined exactly the ones that were against Germany, right? Anyway, according to the report, Macron added that Zelenskyy would eventually have to adjust Ukraine's foreign policy to make difficult decisions. Adjust meaning face the reality and plan accordingly. Now, on February 9th, Zelenskyy met with Macron and Scholz in Paris. Before the meeting, the French president proposed holding a peace conference to end the war against Ukraine based on Zelensky's peace formula. On October 4, 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy approved the National Security and Defense Council decision to outlaw and that outlaws negotiations with Russian dictator Putin. So they made illegal. They're afraid not to have anybody, like the military, for instance, contacting Putin and say, hey, we're done with this weasel supported by US. We want to, let's say, look for the interest of the Ukrainian nation, leave alone Zelenskyy, Shmyhal, Reznikov, and Yermak. Okay, so let's make it illegal. That means if something happens, they can always show, hey, it was the National Security Defense Council decision to outlaw negotiations. So anyway, not that it matters because a coup is a coup. Remember 2014 February? Yeah, I hope you do. Zelenskyy later said that Ukraine would be able to find a format for dialogue with Putin if the Russians retreated from occupied Ukrainian territories and admit that they were terribly wrong. Yeah, okay. So this is the first article. The other one is the one where Great Britain comes in. The new voice of Ukraine, again from Wall Street Journal, Friday, February 24th. Ukraine was offered closer NATO ties to encourage negotiations with Russia. This, you guys cannot, you see, offer. And I'm talking about Rishi Maharishi and Berlin and Paris. You can't because that's not your organization. That's America's club. So you are just over there as a number. When they need you, you're gonna fix the problem for them. This agreement would have provided Ukraine with broader access to Western military equipment. At the same time, it obliges Kiev to start peace negotiations with Moscow. This proposal was made by UK Prime Minister Rishi Maharishi Sunak. Yeah, it seems like he tries to break away from the script. That's why the other guy, Boris Becker Johnson, tries to be now the NATO secretary. If you can imagine that guy being in charge of that. I can. I mean, Biden is the president of the United States of America, after all. Liz Truss was the prime minister of Great Britain and foreign minister. Baerbock is the foreign minister of Germany. I mean, the list can go on and on with these fantastic leaders. Oh, the communist Trudeau is the prime minister of Canada. So the list goes on. This all kind of Kamala, vice president of the United States. All very, very sharp tools from the toolbox. According to Wall Street Journal, these countries have doubted, wow, they're deniers, that Ukraine will be able to force the Russians out of their territories by military means. Oh, there are victory deniers. It's punishable by 5 years of brothel hard work. They also believe that Western partners won't be able to support Ukraine with military assistance if the conflict reaches a stalemate. That's exactly what the Russians are aiming at right now, it seems like. And I'm quoting, we keep repeating that Russia mustn't win, but what does that mean? A senior French official said. A little bit late for that question, my boy. I asked that question for a long time. What does that mean, they must not win? And I'm quoting, if the war goes on for long enough with this intensity, Ukraine's losses will become unbearable, and no one believes they will be able to retrieve Crimea. No one believes. Now this, with unbearable, with Ukrainian losses, remember what the Russian said? The Russian says, so what? Are we going to fight the Ukrainians until there will be no more Ukrainians to fight? And then what? NATO will step in? I don't think so. So according to the Wall Street Journal, Macron and Scholz told Zelensky about the need to consider the possibility of peace negotiations with Moscow. This is why I already mentioned in the other article. And I'm quoting again, the NATO summit must produce a clear offer to Ukraine, also to give Zelensky a political win that can present at home as an incentive for negotiation. A UK official told Wall Street Journal, Russia's wars have a tendency to freeze and then unfreeze, and that is why Ukraine will need more security guarantees from us. Well, you know how it is. These guys can talk as much as they want. Without United States, there's nothing. Remember the Minsk agreements? The Minsk agreements 1 and 2, 2014, 2015, there were two Western guarantors. That was the so-called the Normandy format. And that was France and Germany. Somehow there was no United States of America and no Great Britain. And what happened? Nobody did anything about it. So it meant zero. The same with this kind of things is, hey, we will do this, we will supply, we will NATO, we will support. Nothing without United States. You can talk how much you want. That's probably for your own people or for your own conscience, if you have any. But I think that's, no, I think history demonstrates when United States riles up people, they have to come. When another country calls for help, they're like, not that important. They decided Ukraine is the most important thing on our lifetime and maybe forever, then it is. They dragged Germany in, they dragged France in. Great Britain was over there already because Great Britain is a house servant, so they're in the house. So then when the master said, bring me the coffee, make sure you don't wear any panties, then you come over. The same with those guys over here with the plantation slaves, Germany, France, and the rest of the bottom feeders. They just come like dogs immediately. And they have to wag the tail as well, show that they are happy to see the master, because if they don't show too much enthusiasm, that's not good, you know. So yeah, Zelensky was urged. He doesn't give up. And besides, I'm telling you this, when Zelensky will be of no use, you will not hear Zelensky's name again. Probably, you know, here and there, but when he's gonna be, yeah, that's it. Either they're gonna change him because he's not gonna follow directions, or but I think he's gonna follow them. He just got a tiger by the tail, he can't let go. So, and as I said, these guys are just wasting energy, really. Germany, France especially, and then Great Britain as well. But hey, looks good for the world community that they try. We know. Probably they did this in the middle of the night when Biden, not in the middle, during the 23-hour, 45 minutes of Biden's sleep, daily sleep, that he did not catch wind of it yet. He was going to slap these guys in 3 seconds. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Urged.